All right, here we go. Chapter 6. Good job moving right along here. Good job on the material and the stuff that you guys are doing. It's good work. Keep it up, because as the semester goes, everybody's like, yeah, rockets, let's get this done. As the semester goes, it's kind of just trying to get to the end. So you guys are a little less than halfway there. So hang in there, okay? So preliminary hearing. Here we go. Preliminary hearing is the beginning of the stages where a magistrate, the judge themselves, decides whether there's enough information to hold it over for trial. Okay, so all the reports that the police officers gather and all the evidence and everything like that, that's when they determine whether or not there is enough to stand trial for the charges and the offenses, right? Many states use a preliminary hearing in lieu of a grand jury. Grand jury is a whole different court and set of circumstances. And then you can be bound over for trial. And you can also waive your preliminary hearing. And during that time, it's rights to discovery. What's all the stuff that the police have in order to bring forward in this case, okay? You don't get to hide stuff, right? You don't get to hide stuff. It's up to the DA's office to determine what they're going to use and not use to be held in discovery. So if you have, like in the Scott Peterson case, they mentioned in our book here, there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of evidence that was turned over. Was it all used? No. But the defense attorney can use some of that evidence in order to prove his client innocent. So I want you to look at this video here and tell me 3 things you learned from watching that video, okay? 3 things you learned from watching the video. And you can say preliminary hearing video and who it's about, okay? So I know that you're watching it. Put that information in your replies. Okay, so at the arraignment, this is where the formal reading of the charges are against the person. At that time, during the arraignment, the defendant is given an opportunity to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty of the crimes that they have been charged with, all right? So guilty or not guilty at that time. The arraignment, during the arraignment, they talk about these different opportunities to enter a plea. Let me get my face out of here. There we go. All right. They talk about nolo contendere. Please give me your definition of that. Not guilty for the reason of insanity. Please give me your definition of that. Former jeopardy. Give me your definition of that. And former judgment of acquittal convictions. And. Provide me examples from the internet. Again, please. There's 50 states, right? Get your Google hands, your Google search, right? What suspect pleads nolo contendere in a criminal case in Alaska. Now, here's what happens. Oh my gosh, Miss Gonzalez. Text you, right? I can't find anything about any bad guy in Alaska. Here's what happens. All right? Alaska, Hawaii, Texas, all these places are states, right? What's inside the state that makes up the state? 1 million cities. So pick a city within that state. Say, for instance, you have Texas, right? And you have Texas. And so you're going to pick Houston or San Antonio, whatever city within that state in order to find some of the stuff. Find suspects who plead not guilty by the reason of insanity. I want use a snipping tool and paste it into your assignment and tell me how, not just there's a picture, right? Not just the picture itself and says nolo contendere. I want you to marry the two together. So you show me a picture of a suspect that pleads nolo contendere. Well, how do you know that? How does this picture that you show me, how do I know what's going on in his brain and how you glue them together, right? Guilty for the reason of insanity. They'll tell you, like, he's found insane by whoever, okay? So there you go. That's part of the assignment right then and there. That's part of the whole thing. All right. Also, motions at the arraignment hearing to determine if a murder trial will be tried as a capital case, meaning if the suspect's found guilty and at a sentencing, are they going to seek the death penalty or not, right? Motion regarding the defendant's competent to stand trial. Does he have it all together up here, or is there a few screws that have fallen off, right? And he doesn't know what's going on. A lot of people, oh, I don't know what was happening. I was insane. Oh, you do know what's going on. Trust me. However, you do not fit the criteria of being insane. Motion for an appointment, you need an interpreter. Do not understand the English language or wherever you're at, do not understand what's going on, so you need an interpreter. And you have to define by your attorney if you're going to use insanity defense. Some of the motions at the arraignment is that you don't want your attorney. You think they suck, right? Want somebody else. Get them out of here. Request a judge. Hey, I don't like the judge in this case. I want him to get out of here too, be on his way, based upon whatever name the reason why you don't want them there. And also the prosecution. The prosecution you find is not competent enough to move forward with this trial. All right? You don't have to worry about this. I know you guys see the case law. Oh no, my gosh, I'm going to have to look up the case law because I see it. Not in this case. All right, here we go. Grand jury. Remember I talked about the grand jury earlier? This is a grand jury. There we go. As a group of persons representing a cross-section of the community, all kinds of makeup of the community. Police officers can also serve on the grand jury. Usually a county whose primary purpose is to hear certain types of criminal accusations in order to determine whether sufficient facts to hold the accused for trial. Usually they want it is some big case, and usually, like I put in here, because I used the grand jury in this case, big crime significant. Hold on, significant. I'm stuck on the word. Syndicate. I think that's how, syndicate. Organizations, crime syndicate. Yeah, I think that's it. Like the Hells Angels, right? So if you try to take the Hells Angels and go down to court and try to present the evidence, everybody's there trying to gather intel, right? Because then they know who the witnesses are, who the victims are, everything. So they'll try to intimidate them before. At least in the grand jury, it's sealed. Nobody knows anything about it. And they can move forward in obtaining an indictment, all right? The grand jury procedure came into being early in the common law of England, Magna Carta. So watch this little video. Tell me 2 things you learned from watching that video, right? Don't want it to be a waste of 7 minutes of your life where you could have been doing something different, okay? Whoa, hey, what's going on here? All right, so selection and qualification of grand jurors. Every state is different. They all vary from state to state. Vary from 16 to 23 persons, but most grand juries consist of 19 people overall in order to gain the indictment to see if there's enough information about them for trial. Again, I already told you, but there it is in case you want to know again. Held in secret. Nobody knows about it. Shh, quiet. Got to keep quiet about what goes on in the grand jury. Okay? Opening hearings. Frequently, a grand jury is called to investigate and hold hearings concerning alleged acts of misconduct by public officials. Again, because it's a public official, and the public official is out there in the community doing all kinds of stuff, you want to bring it forward to see if there's enough evidence in order to hold that public official over for trial. All right? All right, the purpose of the initial appearance, when you first appear in court, obviously you already have the arrest. That's what happens. You can't have any type of criminal or grand jury procedures unless there's an arrest. They got to be booked. Now again, going back to my former modules, right? You do not have to go to jail in order to be booked. You can be given a citation to appear in court at a later date and time. And a later date and time when you approve, come back, that's when you'll take your beautiful mugshot, take your beautiful fingerprints, and go from there. Does not have to be an arrest. Everybody associates arrest or going to jail, not necessarily. At the initial appearance, notice the charges, like what am I being charged with? Because everybody's like, I don't know, they arrested me for no reason. You will hear that more than 100,000 times during your lifetime. And mine, 33 years, I've arrested everybody for no reason. There has got to be something in the books. Oh, here it is, arrested for no reason. Because everybody says they were charged with being arrested for no reason. Okay? And the setting of bail, you have a right to get out on bail pending your court trial. And then after that, we already talked about the preliminary hearing to see if there's enough evidence. and or the grand jury. Let's see if we can just bat this out here. Yes, let's just do it. All right. Purpose of the initial appearance. We already talked about that. Arraignment, pretrial motions, and then if they have that, you can do a guilty plea there. If you have all that stuff there. Time of the initial appearance. This is Stanislaus County Courthouse. I must know this place inside out, backwards, forwards, inside out, backwards, forwards, inside out, backwards, forwards, because I've been there so many times, all right? They have to be taken to a magistrate within 48 hours. So the time the person's arrested, say it's today's Saturday at 3 o'clock. Hold on. Today's Saturday at 3 o'clock. Right? And they are taken, they have 48 hours from that time to later on in order to be charged with that crime. And accepting the accused for the initial appearance. Complaint. I want you guys to, oh, yeah, I remember this here. Okay. I had a horrible sergeant that worked for me. Turned out he was a bad guy. He was a pervert. We ended up finding out about it. When I found out about it, this guy used to work right next to me all the time. All the time that he was next to me, had no idea he was doing horrible things to his biological daughter. He ended up getting caught and arrested. Here is a criminal complaint. I want you to read all about it, right? I actually found the criminal complaint on the website. Details everything that went on. And I want you to tell me your thought process. It's kind of off key, but I want to know, because it always is amazing to me where a police officer can go wrong. Like, you're a police officer, you need to stand for what's right, so what makes it wrong? Tell me where you think this police officer went bad and why. Okay, bail. Everybody's allowed to get on bail. Your 8th Amendment, right, allows you to get out on bail for whatever crime you did. 3 things you learn from the video. The denial of bail, you cannot have, if you have denial of bail, there's got to be a reason. It's like, if you get out, you're going to flee the country, you're going to go on a rampage and kill more people. You've got to be able to articulate the facts of why the people do not need a bail, okay? So this is at the different forms of bail. They usually accept 10%, cash, state bonds, equity, and real property, that whatever you can do to pay off the bail in order to get out. And they talk about forfeiting the bail. If the defendant fails to appear in court, they forfeit the bail, and usually the bail bondsman goes hunts them down. They can have a surrender to the defendant, the exoneration of bail, and release on your own cognizance. So here we go, case law. Tell me all about them. Summary, this is everything you guys learned this week. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. For those who are sticking around and not just cutting me off after everything's said and done, here's some extra credit, right? So I want you to tell me one thing so far during these last 6 modules, one thing that sticks out to you and why up to this point. All right, extra credit for those who stood around, because sometimes people click off, oh, summary, who cares? All right, see you guys next week. Bye-bye.